Right now, joining us live here on Live Now from Fox, trial attorney Jeremy Rosenthal to further break down the very latest of the hush money trial. Jeremy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Gina.
So always a pleasure speaking with you. It's been a very active week, to say the least. We've seen Michael Cohen and Trump's attorneys trying to discredit Stormy Daniels through him, but many people confused how Trump's former attorney can even be used as a witness when we all know of attorney-client privilege. If you could catch us up, please.
Great question. We have, in our law, we have what's called the crime fraud exception to the attorney-client privilege. If we think of attorney-client privilege as things that somebody comes and tells their lawyer, typically about the past, right? I robbed a bank. I shot the sheriff. I did this. I did that. I paid hush money to Stormy Daniels. Whatever that may be, if it's past tense, chances are it's almost certainly going to be privileged. The issue changes when it's future tense and when the lawyer is being asked or the lawyer does actually become complicit in a crime. Where do I hide the dead body, right? Where do I stash and how can I launder the money that was stolen from a bank? When those types of questions are asked and the lawyer starts participating in that, it's not going to be privileged. In this case, what they're saying is that Michael Cohen was a part of the crime, and Michael Cohen has already pled guilty to tax fraud, to bank fraud, to perjury. He's already pled guilty in connection with much of this plot. So what the argument here is that it's not privileged for that reason.
Great points you're making, and with him already pleading guilty to those charges you just mentioned, do you think it discredits him as a witness, where people will think, well, he's already been found guilty of all these other things, we might as well not believe him now?
That's right. And in this case, so what we saw yesterday was, if we want to put this in football terms, right, because in Texas, everything is about football and football terms. That's the language people speak here, right? You're taking what the defense is giving you, right? Michael Cohen has pled guilty to all these offenses. Not only that, he's put on social media all these other things about, I want to see Trump in jail. He's got pictures of himself with shirts that he's making. So he's given the Trump team all these things to work with. And the Trump team yesterday did their best to sort of take those things, right, to kind of bludgeon him with it, a really frontal attack. But the key here is this. There are arguments and there are cross-examinations that feel really good and that the lawyers like and that the client likes. And then there's cross-examinations that win. And I don't know that it's necessarily the same thing. I think that Trump and his team have to do a little more here than liar, liar, pants on fire when it comes to Michael Cohen. They're going to have to take these untruths and link them to this case. Why is Michael Cohen lying about this case? Show us somewhere in these documents, show us somewhere in these records that he's being untruthful, because the prosecution has spent the better part of the last 3 weeks getting ready for this day and corroborating Michael Cohen before he even takes the stand. So just like the judge in that thing that we just saw found Michael Cohen credible, he did it because of the paper trail, not because he likes Michael Cohen. I don't know that anybody likes that guy. So you can beat up Michael Cohen all day long. You got to bring it home. And if you don't do that, I don't know if you're really accomplishing anything.
Jeremy, always a pleasure speaking with you here on Live Now with your expertise and perspective. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we let you go? We know that there is a brief pause today in the hush money trial, but it will resume tomorrow.
This thing is wrapping up. The prosecution has indicated that this will be their last witness. We'll see if Donald Trump calls any witnesses. They did have an expert on campaign finance, which for the lawyers, that's actually maybe a pretty decent angle towards an acquittal or a lesser charge towards a misdemeanor. We'll see how that sort of plays out. But this thing is kind of wrapping up, and it's been a long sort of a slugfest here. We'll see if that continues. The lawyers in this case are having a couple days break, which is never good, right? To let the lawyers kind of sharpen their knives as if they've needed time here for Michael Cohen. So I would expect to see a lot of fireworks on Thursday when this thing resumes.
We'll definitely be keeping a close eye. Again, Jeremy, thank you so much for waking up with us here on Live Now from Fox. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you too, Gina.